Welcome to the Home Team Sacramento podcast. I'm Josh Takimoto, and today I'm talking about success versus impact. And the whole reason this came to my mind in the first place, and the reason why I wanted to talk about this topic, was because I believe it was last week I was watching a video on Instagram, and it was the Los Angeles Rams, and they were announcing their team's nominee for the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. And that was Kyren Williams, the running back for the Los Angeles Rams. And they brought back Steven Jackson, who was formerly a running back for the Rams, to present this honor to Kyren Williams. And Steven Jackson was sharing a little bit about what he used to do and all the work that he's done and still does in the community. And he was talking about this event that he did, where it basically provided a Christmas experience that this group of kids would not have gotten otherwise. And so he did this for their families and this whole thing. And he was saying that there was this one kid that he had a picture with, and they showed the picture, and it was a young Kyren Williams, who was he benefited from this event that Steven Jackson put on years ago. And so now, full circle, Steven Jackson is the one that's presenting this nomination announcement to Kyren Williams. And crazy. He's also a running back, also playing for the team that Steven Jackson was playing for when he was doing this event. And so it was just this crazy full circle moment. And as he was wrapping up this presentation, as he was wrapping up this speech that he was giving to the team, he said something that really stuck out to me. And right before he walked off, he said, "I pray that you all get to lift that Lombardi trophy one day. But if you don't, be a champion in somebody else's eyes." I'm going to say that one more time. "I pray that you all get to lift that Lombardi trophy one day. But if you don't, be a champion in someone else's eyes." And man, when he said that, it really stopped me in my tracks. I'm like, that's an incredible thought. And that's exactly why I'm talking about success versus impact today, because like he said, he wants everybody on that Rams team to feel the excitement, the adrenaline, the joy of winning a Lombardi trophy, winning the Super Bowl, and putting a stamp complete on that season, right, by winning the championship. That's what we all want to do, right? We all want to win. We all want to be successful. We all want to achieve the highest level of success we possibly can. But just because we're striving for that, just because we're pursuing that, doesn't mean that we can't have impact, even if we don't make it to that point. Even if we don't reach the levels of success that we were hoping for, that doesn't mean that we can't have tremendous impact on the people around us, on the people that we're coaching, on the people that we're having influence on the lives of. And so I just thought it was interesting, because I feel like there's this thing between success and impact, and all of us as coaches should be striving to be as successful as possible, but at the same time having the most impact you possibly can on your student athletes. And I feel like those two things should not be exclusive. Those things should go hand in hand, and hopefully they do, because I think when those two things go hand in hand, when you have a really successful coach in the scoreboard, or on the scoreboard, in the standings, in the record books, and you pair that with someone who cares tremendously for their athletes and their families and wants to see them succeed on and off the field, in the present and in the future, those are generational coaches. Those are coaches that are going to have the greatest impact on the all-around athlete. And I'm a firm believer that you could have a coach that has a ton of success in the standings. They have an amazing win-loss record. They have championships and titles and accolades, and they could still have little impact on the overall life of their athletes. And I believe you could have a coach that has an okay record. Maybe they even have a losing record, but because of the way they show up, because of the way they care, because of the way they continue to guide their athletes through challenges and obstacles and failures, they can still have success when it comes to the impact they're having on the lives of their athletes. It may not show in the record book, but in the lives and the futures of their athletes, they're having a positive impact every single day they show up. And, I think that, again, we should all be striving for success. I know there's coaches out there that it's not just a thing they volunteer to do. There's coaches out there, you guys listening, this is like a career for you. This is what you want to do. This is what you do with your life. This is the thing you're most passionate about. This is the thing that you're best at, leading young men and women. And so, yeah, it's not just, hey, I show up and I coach this group of kids. You're trying to make a name for yourself. You're trying to reach the next level, and then the next level, and the next level. Whatever your goals and ambitions are, I think that's great. And I think it's an awesome opportunity for you as a coach to have that passion, have those dreams, and so that you get a chance to live it out in front of your athletes. We're telling them to dream big. We're telling them to pursue their goals and run after it. But when they see someone who they respect as a leader doing that same thing in front of them every single day, you have a tremendous opportunity to lead by example when it comes to pursuing your dream and going after those things that you're ambitious about. But at the end of the day, if there's any coach out there who is placing their own personal success over the impact that they can have on their student athletes, then you're missing the whole point of coaching. Like, sure, it's great to win championships and it's great to have this huge name coach that everybody respects when it comes to the X's and O's. But if they're not making their athletes better people, if they're not setting them up for a better future, if they're not teaching life lessons that will benefit them one day when they're far removed from whatever sport they're playing, then you're missing this whole set of coaching that to me is the most important part of coaching. You have an opportunity to change people's lives. And if you don't do that, then it's a wasted opportunity. We all love sports. Sports are fun. Sports are challenging. We're all competitive. We like to compete. We like to push ourselves in that way. But at the end of the day, success without impact is meaningless. We have to have impact on the lives of the student athletes that we're with every single day. And like I said, I know coaches that, for a long time were not experiencing the wins. They had losing records. They had really rough seasons where they weren't just losing, but they were getting crushed. Yet their athletes still showed up every single day because they knew that their coach cared. They knew that even when things got bad, their coach was still going to show up. They knew that even in the most challenging time, their coach was still going to teach them something. And see, that's why that's the cool thing about coaching is even if you're not in line to win a championship, you're not in line to win a section title. There's teams that are clearly more talented, clearly better. You still have an opportunity to teach your athletes something. You're helping them walk through adversity. You're helping them walk through this idea of, hey, sometimes life's not fair. Sometimes things don't go our way. Sometimes challenges and problems keep occurring over and over and over. And even when you think it's all said and done, more challenges come. How do you deal with that? Do you just give up and quit, or do you keep moving? So even in that situation, there's this opportunity for such a tremendous impact, but the coach has to have the right mindset in that situation. The focus has to be there. It can't be this thing where you cross your arms and say, well, we're not winning, so what's the point? Like, there's coaches like that, and that's insane. That's ridiculous. Like, you didn't sign up to be a coach because you thought it'd be easy. You signed up to be a coach because you knew you had an opportunity to impact the lives of young people. And just like life, sometimes things don't go our way. And so who's going to guide them through that? Who's going to teach them how to deal with adversity? Who's going to teach them how to deal with disappointment? Who's going to teach them not to give up even when everything seems to be going against them? A lot of times it's coaches that have the losing records, right? And then when you have coaches that have success, you're teaching them how to win. How do you win the right way? How do you deal with success? How do you deal with fame and notoriety? How do you deal with these things that come with being a well-known program? You look at here on the home team, Sacramento, we have a ton of programs that are really well-known. Basketball, baseball, football, individual athletes. Like there's a lot of people out there that even as high school students, as high school coaches, are well-known around the area because they're going to go off and do bigger and better things. And they have powerhouse programs here that constantly have the spotlight on them. And you're always in the playoffs. You're always winning championships. And how do you deal with that? How do you guide your athletes through that? So whether you're successful or maybe you're lacking success, impact has to be the core of everything that we do. Because if we're not focused on impact, like I said before, we're missing the whole thing. Excuse me. And I think we have to really remember too that excuse me, when it comes to wins and losses are, excuse me, um, excuse me, a little bit of a cold. I'm trying to keep this cough at bay. What was I saying? Um, yeah. So when it comes to, wins and losses for a coach, wins and losses might impact your record book, might impact the standings. It's going to live in the record books, sure. And you're going to be seen as a certain type of coach who knew the X's and O's, who knew how to strategize and how to build a winning program. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if you're not helping your athletes become better people. When you help them become better people, you're not just impacting that season. You're not just impacting the record books. You're impacting generations that will follow after that athlete. You're going to affect how they carry on, how they move after they're done with their playing career, how they treat people, how they lead their families, how they lead their employees at their jobs. All these different things, like those will in some way come back to the life lessons that you teach. Hopefully, if you're teaching those lessons in the right way, then you'll have this impact that not just affects them, but affects the generations that go past them and that go beyond them. And that's a pretty special thing, I think. And so it's not just, you're not just coaching for the few athletes that you're coaching that season. You're coaching the people that they're going to have impact on beyond that year. And so it's not a small thing. It's not a small responsibility, at least the way I look at it. And sure, some may just think, okay, I'm coaching the sport. It's not that big of a deal. To me, it's a pretty big deal. I think a coach is an important person in a young person's life. And so I think that job, that responsibility should be taken seriously. And so, and again, I want to make sure it's clear too. What I'm not saying is that you hear sometimes, right? Like wins and losses don't matter. Winning does matter. Winning really does matter. Now, I'm not saying that you do everything to win at all costs, no matter what what you might compromise. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that winning definitely matters. And especially when it comes to the reputation of a coach, if you have a coach who is well-versed in the X's and O's, who knows how to strategize, who knows how to compete, who knows how to lead young men and women and get the very best out of them. And when they win titles, they win championships, they produce high-quality athletes. Well, the athletes and the families of those athletes are going to listen because they're already drawn into this idea of this person knows how to lead and they know how to win. And when you have that, you have the eyes and the ears open to the people around you. And it gives you a greater impact or a greater opportunity. It gives you a greater opportunity for impact because you've already got their attention because they know you're a beast of a coach. Now, when you have their attention, what are you going to do with it? What kind of impact are you going to have? What kind of lessons are you teaching? How are you going to make them not only better athletes, but better people? See, when someone has success, it leads to a greater platform. And sometimes that platform gives you a voice that extends beyond your locker room, beyond your school, beyond your community, sometimes beyond your state. Your platform gets bigger, so your voice gets wider and you go further with your message. But you got to make sure that whatever your message is something that's going to impact people and make them better. It can't be a selfish thing. It can't be, hey, look at me, look at all the success I have. No, you want your success to be a gateway that allows you to impact and affect and change and challenge more people with the message that you're passionate about. It's all through sports, but a bigger platform means a greater opportunity to change the lives and the hearts and the minds of more people. And that's what it's about. So like I said, we should be striving for success. We should be striving for bigger and better opportunities. But if we ever move away from impact, if we ever move away from this desire to see the lives of young athletes changed, we're missing it. We've placed too much focus on success and not enough focus on impact. So that's what I've got today. Hopefully that all made sense. Hopefully I didn't ramble too much, and hopefully you guys could hear me with my hoarse voice here. But yeah, success versus impact. Don't sacrifice impact for success, but don't think that you can't be successful while also having impact. We need to strive for both. We need to strive for both those things, because the futures and the lives of our student athletes are counting on it. We want to make impact. We want to make a difference. So be successful, but never lose sight of the impact you're having. And so, yeah, so you guys can follow us, as always, follow us on social media, all social media platforms at hometeamsac. You can also subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, excuse me, Apple Podcasts. Oh, man, almost made it through without coughing on the mic. You can follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. Please make sure you subscribe to all of those different places and follow us on all those different things. And then also check out our coaches page on Facebook. We would love for you guys to join that as well. Please share this podcast with a coach, with an athlete that you know, and help us spread the word, and help us grow and develop and make this home team of Sacramento even tighter. Hopefully we're back in the next couple of weeks. I know we have the holidays coming up. I don't know if I'm going to record anything between now and Christmas. If not, Merry Christmas to all of you guys out there. Enjoy your holidays. Enjoy some of the time off and the break from your sports and all that stuff. And then once we jump back into the second part of this year, this school year, let's get back to it. So I'm so thankful for all you guys who are a part of our home team, and we will see you next time. See ya.